Hello car and EV enthusiasts, Bama Cooley here, and behind me I have the only i5 M60i in North Alabama. This car was sent from BMW to debut here at Century Automotive. I am lucky enough for them to give me some time with it so we can review it, see how luxurious it is, or see what kind of creature comforts it has, and what you mainly care about, how does it perform. So come on, let's go. All right, everybody, we are in the i5 M60i. I'm excited to drive this and see what she will do and how she drives. I know BMW, as I said earlier, wanted something with luxury and comfort, but also with performance, hence the extra added performance features that they added. Accompanying me is the salesman here at Century Automotive, Phil Bell. So if you're in the market for a BMW, definitely give him a call. I will put Century's website in the description, and you can definitely give him a call and he will help you out. Let's get going and see how she drives. I do like how I put it in sport mode and the piping changed to red and the ambient. Phil, y'all have had this car now for, I think, what, 2 weeks?
Right.
So I do have it in sport mode, so I wanted to see how this felt. I mean, I know BMWs, and BMWs are definitely smooth to drive when they're in their normal mode. So I wanted to see how this soaks up the bumps and when it's more of a performance setting. The steering wheel's nice and tight. I like the fact that it does have the orange marker on the steering wheel that you see in a lot of performance vehicles. Of course, you got your blue and red stitching, and then it flattens out at the bottom like a performance steering wheel. I compared this from a performance and luxury standpoint almost to like an M5, but cheaper.
Yeah.
I think you get a lot for the money with this.
Yeah, that's an accurate comparison. Because actually the M5 is not going to be a production car in this model here.
Okay. I did not know that. So the suspension definitely soaks up the road. One of the things I noticed too, as soon as you let off the gas, it does kind of pull you back. Regenerative braking. But it's not as bad as some EVs. I've been in some EVs to where you pulled off the gas and it almost throws you to the steering wheel.
Well, you can increase the resistance,
right,
in the iDrive system.
Well, the worst I've ever experienced was the Rivian.
Yeah.
And you can adjust it. Like, it is what it is. And the owner I was talking to, who I reviewed it, he was used to it. I drove it for like 20 minutes and I was like, man, I don't know if I can get used to this. This is terrible. So the heads-up display is really nice. BMW always does a good job with the heads-up display. I know you can't see it on the camera. So we got going right here. And then of course the digital gauge cluster is always top-notch. Right now I do have it in the G-force setting. So Phil, if you don't mind, I was just going to take it up and take it to where Ride Out Road is.
Absolutely.
Go up a little bit and then come around, and then we'll turn back around. But this is usually the route I take when I do a drive for a review, because you get your red light CD driving perspective, but then you're able to see what it's like on the highway.
It's the same route I take for a test drive. I take my customers on test drive, because you always want to give them all of the experiences that they would experience with everyday driving. So you get to stop and go, you get the highway driving, and then the way you come off of 72, you get that deep curve, so you can see how it moves around the curve.
Yeah. And I always like to get the acceleration, like when I get ready to turn right there at the intersection, about to get on Ride Out, especially when there's no cars in front of you, that's when you can really accelerate and feel what it's got.
And you can you can try out the boost as well. There's a boost function.
Okay, so do I just pull it?
Yeah, when you press it, it gives you a countdown from 10 all the way down to 0. That's the time frame in which you can actually use the boost.
Okay, so it's a 10-second time you can use the boost. So, okay, we'll use that when we get ready. I saw it here, and at first before I was doing the review, I was just kind of getting the lay of the land and playing with this so that when I started recording, I wouldn't be fumbling around with it. And I saw that there, and at first I was looking for the paddle shifter on the other side, and I was like, wait a minute. But I saw the boost there, and I was like, okay.
So that in addition to the power that you get in sport mode, you get additional power from the boost.
Okay, all right. This is very comfortable. Seats are top notch, and that was one of the comments I made reviewing the interior, was everything was the soft touch. It has the upgraded Bowers and Wilkins sound system, so, I've mentioned this many times in my reviews. I'm always partial to BMWs, so I don't think I've ever driven a BMW that I just didn't like. I did knock it on one thing though. One thing. I was doing the review in the back, and I was like,
I know exactly what you
I said, where's the climate control for the rear view, for the rear?
Yeah.
I was like, I've seen that on cheaper models of, and I was like, where's it at? And I was like, that's the one knock.
Yeah, that was the first thing I thought about when I got in. I rode in the back on the test drive. I'm like, yeah, that's not BMW.
So since the days are shorter now, as I come up and do more reviews with y'all, I might start making them more in the afternoon, because hitting the spot where I do the outside and inside reviews during the day, but do the driving reviews at night, because BMW, the interior of a BMW is so pretty at night. It comes
alive. Yep.
I mean, you can barely see it here because of the daytime, but if, seeing this red and blue and the colors, you can change it at night. There's nothing like being in a BMW at night, the way they do the ambient lighting. All right, everybody, we're coming up to the turn. Let that car go a little bit. And give the business and see how she does. Got the boost on.
Yes.
Yeah, that and it made that spaceship sound. Like as soon as you gave it the gas, it gave it that spaceship sound. This would definitely do 0-60 in 3.3. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
I think BMW was kind of conservative with that.
Yeah, if I put this on a flat road and put my draggy on it, my draggy system, where they do the GPS, when I do 0-60s in some cars, I could probably maybe get it quicker than that. I mean, what I gave it there, I didn't just floor it. Like I went about halfway and then was still increasing the throttle. Mm-hmm. And by the time I pulled off, we were up to 82. Mm-hmm. This is definitely a fun car to drive, but it's, at the end of the day, it's a sedan. It's practical too. So, if you got a family and, you need, and I made a comment about how much trunk space you had, and the seats could fold down if you needed more storage.
Right.
We pulled 0.6 G's off that little, which isn't bad at all. Mm-hmm. So if you're definitely in the market for an EV, and like I said, you want a sedan, then definitely check out this when either call Phil and put in an order, or whenever BMW starts sending them out in numbers. Do you know when y'all will start getting the models in as far as?
Well, we have allocations now that are going into production in the end of this month, beginning of next month. They should be hitting showroom floors in probably March.
Okay.
We do have a production I5 M60 that's in a really nice red color. That's coming. It should be here next month.
Normally, I'm not a super big fan of blue unless it's like a real light blue on a Porsche or something. But I thought that the black gloss was a good contrast with this blue on the outside. And of course, I love the wheels with the blue brake calipers.
Yep.
I made a note too in the review to talk about some of the performance features that BMW added. You know, they have the active roll bar system to give it better handling. They put wider tires on it. They put up the 19-inch wheels. They got the rear wheel steering. So, you know, they know this is a sedan, but they went above and beyond what a normal sedan has as far as performance.
Yeah, so what BMW is known for is racing and performance. So it's always good. Any car that you get into of BMW is going to have those aspects of performance. So not only is this a sedan, it's a performance sedan on that. So
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think ultimately you want to enjoy what you drive. Obviously, you want if you're driving a truck, you want the utility of a truck, but you still want it to be fun to drive. If you're driving a sedan, or if you're driving a SUV like the XM, which I reviewed, which I thought was fun as hell to drive. And you still want something that's fun to drive and looks good. And I think this checks all the boxes.
Yeah, no one's doing EV like BMW is doing EV. So
one thing I do like about the EVs is the torque is instantaneous. It's like there's no drivetrain loss at all.
Right. Another thing about BMW is that this car is recyclable. So about 90% of the components in this vehicle is recyclable.
I got you. So when they say green, they're really green.
They're really, really green.
Just so people will know that watch this, what's the warranty on the batteries?
It's 8 years, 100,000 miles.
Okay.
And the difference between the batteries in the BMW and batteries in other EVs is some modular batteries, which means that it has individual cells that can be replaced individually.
I got you. You don't just have to chunk the whole battery. That's one of the knocks on the EVs overall, right? Is that if you got to replace the battery, you're almost better off buying a new car than replacing one of those massive batteries, because you got to replace the whole thing.
Absolutely.
This car does have all the safety features. It has the adaptive cruise control, the lane keep assist. In part of my review on the inside, I went in and did the full 360 camera, so everybody could see that and how good the resolution was on that. And so, I mean, it's decked out in safety features. At some point, somebody in one of these EVs is going to put in like a turbocharged V8 sound and have it geared to the pedal, so that when people think they're still driving
that would be amazing. I mean, that would open up another certain percentage of people that just want to hear the engines.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a big thing, right? Like, I drive that Raptor, and it's got the EcoBoost V6, which has more horsepower and more torque than the V8 that Ford uses. But people knocked it because it doesn't sound like a V8.
Right. You're right.
Now, I've driven with y'all, I've reviewed now the i4, the XM, and now the i5 M60. So I reviewed 3 EVs, BMW EVs with y'all, and I've had fun driving all 3. Like I said, one of the reasons why I'm partial to BMW is how they drive, but to me, what you get for the money is better than what you get for the money with Mercedes or other comparable brands. I mean, if you just wanted something to fun and go fast and didn't really care about the creature comforts, you can still get an M3 or an M4 without the competition package at a fairly reasonable price.
Right. And so BMW definitely wants to maintain the BMW brand by giving you that comfort and then having that great combination of comfort and performance, even with the EVs. And you got to think BMW's been doing they've been doing electric vehicles since the 70s.
Yeah.
So So that's a brand that you can trust with an electric vehicle.
The first thing I noticed about this sedan is it is straight BMW, all the way from curved lines in the hood, the aggressive grille down the front. Of course, you got your BMW logo here with the blue outer edge. You have your M badge here for the M60i, and this thing is built for performance, and we'll go over those numbers later. Down here, you got your splitter. You have the gloss blacked out to go along with this Cytonic blue metallic that they have, which is a $500 option. I didn't think it looked good on the internet, but seeing it in person, especially with the gloss black contrast, I think it looks really good. Coming more towards the corner of the side, you see you have the high performance LED headlamps from BMW. Of course, you got BMW LED here. These things will turn with you as you're going around at night. So, and this is one of the many technology features that this particular model has. I compare this to a 5 Series, an M5 basically, except you don't have the throaty V8. Obviously you have the electric motors, but from a creature comforts and how it's laid out, to me it's almost like an M5, and we'll go through that more as we go on with this review. Coming over to the side, of course, you have the body color door handles, you have the blacked out rear view mirrors, you have black trim going down the edge, which is a good contrast with this blue. And coming over here to the wheels, you have two 45/45s R16s on the front, so this does have wider wheels than normal, and it is geared towards performance to a certain degree to go along with the luxury. So you got 19-inch rims on both sides, you got wider tires, and we'll go over some more of the performance features with the anti-roll bars and everything as we get into the review. One of the things I wanted to point out to y'all was an Easter egg that BMW put on here. Right here on both sides in gloss, you see 5 for the i5. So I thought that was a pretty cool little touch or Easter egg. Coming around to the back, of course, it looks like a typical sedan. The way the trunk slopes in, BMW badge, your M60 badge right here, and then of course your i5 badge. Coming down, of course, you got the black gloss down here at the bottom. You have the LED laser taillights here that BMW likes to use. So overall, it's a good looking sedan. Like I said, to me, it's an M5 basically. And for the price, to be honest with you, I think it's probably more luxurious, which we'll get into when we step inside. As far as the trunk, let's go over the trunk space real quick. It is a fully electronic trunk. It has massive capacity in here. It goes forever. The seats do lay down in a 60-40 split. So, you know, you do have that. You do have additional storage here below. So it's a typical sedan trunk with sedan space for families, basically. You can fit a lot of groceries in here. And maybe a golf bag. Here's your key fob. Of course, you got your lock, unlock, trunk opening. And there is an auto start function here with 3 times. It's a pretty sharp BMW key fob. All right, let's look at the inside. Of course, you got the soft touch leather material. Of course, you got the metallic trim with the door handle. This doesn't have Harman Kardon system. This has the upgraded Bowers and Wilkins system. Of course, there you see your storage here. And of course, this is decked out with soft leather white seats. And let's get in and see how much room she's got. All right, sitting here in the back, I'm between 5'10" and 5'11". I'm probably back, the front seat's probably back a little bit farther than it would be if I was driving, so, and I still have plenty of leg room. You do have USB here. Of course, you got a attachment here if you want to, kids want to put in like an iPad. Coming over here, of course, you see the same layout. You got the Bowers and Wilkins system. Here you got your child safety locks. You do have your cup holder armrest here. Down here you got your vents and you got your USBs. One knock I will say about this for the price, and I think this one MSRP is for $88,000, which we'll go over the window sticker here in a bit. You don't have your own climate controls back here. I think for that amount of money, I've seen it on cheaper cars where you have your own climate controls back here. So I would think that That's one of the things that BMW kind of missed the boat on this. All right, coming up front, you got the same soft touch materials. You have everything here is mainly buttons. You got your lock, unlock, you got some seat adjustment, seat memory. You also have your rear view mirrors. You have your window controls. There's your trunk latch, more storage, 2 speakers from the upgraded system. And I love what BMW does with their piping and their ambient lighting. This is blue, and you'll see as we go across, it goes pretty much all across the car, and it changes color. When we put it in sport mode, it will be red. Of course, here's your seat, soft leather, heated and ventilated. There's your seat controls. All right, let's get in it. Coming over here, there's your lights. Like I said, it's basically push button, but you got the ambient lighting going across there. You got your auto on off. You got the intensity of the lighting in the interior. Coming down here, of course, you got your performance pedals. You got your electronic steering wheel controller. You have your different modes. You have your cruise control settings. Over here, you got your adjustments for the displays as well. Music, phone, up and down for the radio. Your M badge. You do have red and blue stitching all around this, and it does flatten out here at the bottom like a performance steering wheel, and it's got some thickness to it. It's soft leather, but it does have some thickness, which I like in any car that's trying to be a performance car. Of course, there you see the digital gauge cluster, which we don't have the car on yet, so we'll turn it on in a minute. You got a boost paddle shifter here. You have your blinker stock. Coming over here, you got your windshield wiper stock right here. And like I said, you see the piping with ambient lighting going all the way across, clear to the other side. Of course, here you got some air conditioning controls. These little buttons here control the vents, little knobs. Here's your massive 14.9-inch infotainment center, and it connects to the 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. Down here, you got some drive modes. You got radio volume. You got your home buttons. This is crystal for your knob to control everything in the infotainment center. Start, stop, auto hold. Coming over here, of course, you have your wireless charging, a couple of drink holders. You got your USBs here. You do have a 12-volt here and a little bit of storage, not a lot, but it's manageable. You have this faux wood grain going across that looks pretty good. And of course, like I said, this is the Bowers & Wilkins upgraded system, so there are speakers everywhere and it sounds great. This does have a standard sunroof. I know some of them come with the full panoramic that doesn't open like a normal sunroof. This one actually has the standard sunroof on it. All right, let's crank it up, and I say that facetiously. There you see the digital gauge cluster, and we can go over, content. I got it set on the G meter. We can go over layouts on how the layouts look and change those completely as well. You can also change up how your heads-up display looks. I don't know if y'all can see it with the camera, but it's right there. Like I said, here's your cruise control. It is adaptive cruise control, so it does have the premium package in this. All right, coming across to the infotainment center, I've already been playing with it some. It is very responsive. It's on the map now, but you can set it here, go right here to more of your home. You got your My modes, so you can change up personal, sport, efficient, expressive, relax, and digital art. Let's say we want sport. So when you put it in sport mode, you see the piping on the ambient lighting change to red. It keeps it blue over here. But for right here and all across where the driver sits, it is red. It changes these to red. And believe it or not, the bolstering on the seats on the side actually squeeze tighter like a performance seat. So when you put it in sport mode, you actually feel it get tighter and almost form around you, which I think is pretty cool. Of course, here you got your settings. Of course, I won't go through everything because it'd make this video an hour, but you got your drivetrain to sport, driving dynamics, sport plus, steering to sport, damping to sport, seat support for sporty driving, which I think is pretty cool. Coming down here, something I wanted to show y'all too with some of these, it's definitely the camera system. So it does have a full 360 degree. You got forward facing cameras, you got all the sensors going around. So let me see, here's your panorama view. There's a car wash view that allows you to see it from the top and see where your wheels go, so you can line up for a car wash. Okay, here's a 360 view, which I think is pretty badass. So let me see if I can. So you can actually see where we're at here at the dealership, go all around it, and it will actually pick up if cars are coming or anything like that, which I think is pretty badass. Definitely top-notch technology, and definitely luxurious. So I think BMW, especially for the money, hit that out with this. You got a YouTube app on here. You can watch YouTube and watch
my reviews while you're driving this as well. Ryder Cup, okay, Sirius, Android Auto, everything pretty much you want on this. Of course, you got your My modes. This thing would take forever to go through. Charging status, Alexa, climate controls, displays, drive recorders, vehicle settings, so all your lighting, climate, keys. No, this thing is, from a technology and even safety feature, this is definitely top-notch level. Before we go on a drive, I know what you're saying. Brian, what about the power? You said this thing is comfort, luxurious, and performance. What has BMW done to make this more performing? First, it's the powertrain. 590 horses, 605 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds. So this thing will move. I already mentioned the wider tires and the 19-inch wheels for more stability, but BMW went in and they made the suspension more sporty, comparable like if you were looking at a 5 Series car. The range on this is 256 miles despite the power. This does have rear wheel steering, which helps when you're taking corners, because BMW, since they do want the performance factor increased, obviously people are going to be taking corners a little bit more sporty, so they did add that to it to go along with the suspension and with the wider tires. The three things that BMW wanted this car to be known for, and that Car and Driver and them have reviewed this as, is basically a strong drivetrain, which is 590 horses. They wanted balanced handling, so you got the wider wheels, you got the rear wheel steering, and of course they wanted the nice cabin, luxurious creature comforts. This car does have the active anti-roll bars for better handling as well. So when you talk about handling and going around tight corners and curves with some speed while you're having fun driving in the back roads of Mexico, you know, you got the active anti-roll bars, you got the wider tires, you got the rear wheel steering. So BMW definitely put a lot of engineering in this to make sure this car didn't just drive like a normal sedan that most people think of. One of the things I always like to look at is what the sticker is, and I know this is hard to see on there, so I'll read it off. Baseline price $84,100. Premium package is $2,500. The Phytonic Blue Metallic is $650. With the premium, you get the heated steering wheel, interior camera, full LEDs, parking assistant, curved display. See, dynamic cruise controls all included. Adaptive suspension pro, everything's included. That's really the only package on here is the premium package. So your total MSRP is $88,245. Which, you know, yes, it's getting close to $90,000 and it's expensive, but like I say, everything's expensive. But this does come with a lot of upgraded standard features, and let's be honest, it's 590 horses and 605 pound-feet of torque. So let's see how she runs.
Everybody, the BMW I5 M60, one of the ultimate sedans you can buy, and in my opinion, if not the top EV sedan, one of the top EV sedans you can buy. It's luxurious. They use great materials, 590 horses, 605 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60 in 3.3. It packs performance with creature comforts. You saw the technology on the inside. This thing is completely loaded. And